Welcome back to the tier list. Today, I'm going to be ranking every NFL team. Let's jump right into it because, I'm going to have a lot of opinions on certain teams that I want to talk about. Don't be salty if I don't rank your team very well. You can get over it. The Titans, starting right off with a solid A. Titans are a team that can go 10 and 6 every year, 9 and 7, or even 11 and 5. I think that's their ceiling is 11 and 5. I think they could use a little bit of a better defense. But yeah, Titans are been one of the teams I've been wanting to succeed for a long time because they've been really bad as along with the Browns. Yeah, I mean not much else to say. The Dolphins, as of this year, are a B. They just missed out on the playoffs. They just went from a rebuilding team to 10-6 in 1 year. I think next year, I mean, they really get a solid wide receiver and maybe a couple more linebackers. They just released their best linebacker. Yeah, man, I feel like they can be 12 and 4, 11 and 5. Okay, biased, but Cleveland Browns are an S tier team. I don't know what much else they'd really need to prove. They just need to get one more defensive end, maybe one more linebacker, and a safety. And they could also use a little bit of a backup corner. Pretty much all their secondary. There's so many good free agents. As the time I'm recording this, it is March 14th, so free agency has not started. But if you're watching this, maybe the Browns have signed a very big free agent, and I'll probably say it in class. Yeah, they could be very, very good. I mean, they went 11 and 5 last year. They could easily get 13 wins this year if they improve their defense. The Jags are D, very bright future, but they sucked last year. I mean, they sucked kind of on purpose. They tanked to get Trevor Lawrence. The Lions are D. I don't think they're the worst team in the league. Jared Goff is not a good quarterback. Um, they have a lot of picks though in next year's draft. I think this year they're going to suck again. The Vikings, C. Very solid offense. I think their defense was a little lackluster last year. Kirk Cousins is mediocre. I think they just need one more playmaker on their defense. Could be, 9 and 7, 10 and 6 team. But right now, they're at 7 wins. Buccaneers are an S tier team. They won the Super Bowl. Tom Brady's coming back. They're really not losing anybody. As I'm recording this, Shaq Barrett still has not signed anywhere. So maybe if you're watching this, he signed with the Bucks or maybe the Browns, or maybe the Bills. I don't know, the Colts. I'll have to see one of those predictions. The Niners. I think the Niners are an A team or A tier team. They had a lot of injuries, but even with the injuries, they were still solid. They weren't the worst team in the league. I don't like Jimmy Garoppolo. I think they might draft a QB. Yeah, I think they can be a top 10, top 5 team next year easily. They just need to be healthy. The Falcons are D. The Falcons, they're mediocre. They blow leads all the time. That's really all there is to it. Okay, the Ravens are an even though the Browns did not beat the Ravens last year, I still think the Ravens are an A tier team. I don't think they're the top of the league. They have all the talent in the world. They have a way better defense than the Browns. They have like the equivalent offense, and they still could not get it done. Whereas the Browns made it just as far with a terrible defense. So, I mean, I don't know what much else you could really improve about Baltimore. So I just don't think they have the potential to win the Super Bowl. Bears are C. They get a good QB, man. That's all they need. That's all they've been needing for a long time. It's a good QB. They have a top 10 defense, top 5 sometimes, even when they're 100% healthy, 100%, you know, efficiency. Yeah, just get a QB. Maybe they'll trade for Russell Wilson. Maybe when you're watching this, maybe they've traded for somebody. I don't know. Once again, or they've signed someone. The Bengals are last year were an F team, F tier. They had a lot of injuries. Joe Burrow. Who knows if he's even going to be 100%. I always cheer for the Bengals though, even though they're a division rival. I think the Bengals are an F tier team as of right now. They're going to lose a couple key pieces like Carl Lawson, maybe. Once again, as I'm recording this, maybe he resigns with the Bengals or the Browns. Probably the Browns. But yeah, F tier team. The Cowboys are a C. I like Dak Prescott. He's one of my favorite players in the NFL. I think he's underrated. Believe it or not, he's underrated. I think he's a top 5 quarterback. They're going to get him back, and they're going to be very, very solid, like 9-7, 10-6. The Texans are an F tier team. Not much else to say. They're going to be rebuilding. I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to be on their team anymore this year. Yeah, they have potential, but I think this year they're going to tank. 3-13, 4-12. The Colts are B tier team. Super, super solid defense. They just traded for Carson Wentz, so I mean we can see how that's going to go. I still believe in Carson Wentz. I think they'll get 9 wins. Yeah, I think they'll be solid. They get a couple more improvements on their offense to match their defense. I think it's really quite easy for them. The Rams are A tier. They made it as far as the Browns did in the playoffs, as far as the Ravens, as far as the who else? I forget who else. Oh, Buffalo. They made it as far as Buffalo. I'm actually not Buffalo. I don't know what I'm saying. But they made it into the playoffs. They won the first round. They got their QB of the future. I think they're gonna go. If they don't get at least 11 wins, I think it's a disappointment for them, honestly, because they got Matt Stafford. I think he's gonna be insanely good. Yeah, it's the Rams. Chargers. I think they're gonna be a B tier team. I like Justin Herbert. He has insane potential. Once again, they're one of the teams that just need defense, and they'll be solid. The Chiefs are obvious in S tier. I'm not even going to explain that. It's the Chiefs. Well, this one is interesting. The Saints. As I'm recording this, Drew Brees announced his retirement like about an hour ago. So that's going to be extremely interesting to watch. I think Jameis Winston might be the starter. I think they are going to have a bad year. I think they're going to be C tier. I think they should rebuild. They have no cap space. They need to sell high or sell low and buy high with their draft picks. Yeah, and that's not much else to say. Drew Brees was their best player. Maybe not this year, but the past couple years. I think Jameis Winston could still get them to maybe 7-8 wins. The New York Giants are D. Nothing really special on their team, like at all. Maybe their corners are okay. Or the corner is okay. Yeah, they're kind of a mediocre team. The Eagles. D. The Eagles and the Giants sucked this year. I don't know what happened to that division, but they were all awful. They have like very low features. The Eagles have like no cap. Yeah, it's baffling to me what happened to the Eagles. I used to think they were such a good team. The Steelers are a C tier team. I'm like I said, they're going to be bad. They're not. Last year, well, technically 2 years ago now, they had no quarterback the whole year and still went what, like 9-7? I think they went, or 8-8, one of those. I mean, every time you say the Steelers are going to be bad this year, they crank out 9 wins. I think they're going to get 9-10 wins. Regardless, it's the Steelers. I mean, people are scared of playing them even if they suck. So, yeah, C tier. I'm predicting maybe 9-7, 10-6. The Broncos, I think they're an F tier team. Like, I don't know why everyone hypes up like Drew Lock and stuff. Like, I think he's terrible. I don't see a lot of people hype up Drew Lock, but people are like saying he has some potential. Like, he just doesn't. He's so bad. I don't know. Green Bay, S tier team. I don't know how much longer Aaron Rodgers is going to be available for them. They just re-signed Aaron Jones. It's the Packers. They're going to get 13 wins and probably blow it, but I always cheer for them. Panthers were a C tier team. I think they have so much talent on offense. I'm really cheering for them to trade for Deshaun Watson. I don't know how it's going to happen. Trade up the 8th pick for Deshaun Watson, maybe next year's first. I heard Christian McCaffrey. But if they can somehow keep Christian McCaffrey on the team with Deshaun Watson, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, even Mike Davis, and they can draft maybe a tight end late in the second, maybe sign a tight end, Hunter Henry out of free agency. There's a couple good tight ends. Maybe David Njoku will be available for a trade. You never know. I think their offense can be really good. The Raiders. Man, like their Raiders were just kind of forgettable last season. I know they beat the Chiefs, I think. I'll put the Raiders in C. They played the Browns in a pretty crappy game, so I didn't really care about it. I was kind of upset that it was such a bad game, weather-wise. They're just always a C tier team. I think Derek Carr is underrated. I think he gets a lot more flack than he deserves. Yeah, I think they can be solid 9 wins this year. I don't really see them getting any more than that. Though Washington, this has an outdated picture on it, but the Washington football team, I think, was a B tier team. They were miles, by far the best team in the NFC East, for sure, for sure. I think their defense is awesome. I was cheering for them. I like Terry McLaurin. I think they can get a QB. I think they're going to draft Justin Fields. I feel like is who's the biggest potential, or Trey Lance to go to the football team, or maybe they can make a trade. I was kind of cheering for Dak Prescott to go to the football team, but it can't happen anymore. Cardinals, C tier. They were the definition of mediocre. I like Kyler Murray. I like DeAndre Hopkins. I also like J.J. Watt. You know, boohoo. Browns didn't get J.J. Watt, but it is what it is. I think the Cardinals have a lot of potential. I like Budda Baker too. He's also one of my favorite players in the NFL. The the Cardinals have a lot of flashy names and a lot of potential in their players. So I feel like C tier. I don't think this draft or free agency is really going to push them over the edge. Maybe another one more year. Yeah. Okay, the Bills. This would be surprising. I'm going to put them in A tier. I think they were awful against the Chiefs. They did make the AFC Championship. I'll give them that. I like Josh Allen, but I just don't feel like they have more potential than the Browns, the Bucks, the Chiefs, or the Packers. So, I mean, the order of the list doesn't matter too, but I'm going to put them at the top just for, I don't know, aesthetic reasons, I guess. The Bills definitely have the most potential out of anyone in the A tier. Maybe a little less than Baltimore does. But yeah, I think Josh Allen's crazy good. I think he's going to have another monster year, maybe even win MVP. The Seahawks. I'm going to put them in B. I'll put them at the top of the B. Okay. I know they made the playoffs. I know they got beat by the Rams with an injured Jared Goff with a thumb that was like had stitches in it or something. I don't know. I don't like their situation. They got like 4 good players on their team. Like it's just all mediocre players. Russell Wilson carries them. I like DK Metcalf and Lockett. I think that like big three is really really good. But other than them, their offense is abysmal. Chris Carson is not coming back. I don't know what they're expecting. Their defense has 2 good players, 3 good players. Yeah, 3. Anything they just need to add so much more that they can't afford. So, yeah, the Jets. F. I think I think the Jet. No. I'll put them an F. Put them an F. I think they have potential to be in the D tier, but I think they definitely have potential. Maybe if they do trade for Deshaun Watson, my other team I want to trade for him. I think that'd be pretty crazy. I think they instantly gain 6 wins. Yeah. And last but not least, the Patriots. They just re-signed Cam Newton to a 1-year, $14 million. Oh, they're making a bunch of trades earlier today too. I think they were traded their right tackle and they traded one of their guards last week. Them signing Cam Newton to me does not seem like a rebuild type of year, so I'm gonna put them in B. I think they're gonna go for it. I think Bill Belichick doesn't want to have a losing season, even if it jeopardizes the future of the team. I don't think he really cares. And they'll go 9-7 or something and ruin their draft pick, and they're not very good at drafting either. So that is my list. Okay, so basically, I should maybe have a top 5 teams. So I'm gonna put Baltimore on S. Okay, I think these are my top 5 teams in no order. In the S tiers: the Browns, the Bucks, the Chiefs, the Packers, and the Ravens. I think you can argue maybe the Bills over the Browns or the Bills over the Ravens, but everywhere else, this is kind of my record predictions. This is what I think they're going to be next year, not necessarily what they're going to be, how they were this year or as of right now. It's like what they're going to be next year. Yeah, if you like my list, leave a like. Tell me what you want to see next week.